Biashara Tuesday, this very fateful Tuesday morning. It is the 18th of June 2024. I'd love to know how your morning is coming along. Mine is beautiful, and I am excited to be here once more to bring to you Biashara Tuesday, the show that discusses business, the economy, politics, and technology. Everything in there that allows you to make money and how you are losing it. This is Rise Today, the show that comes to you twice a week on Monday and Tuesday. And this morning we're going to look at a lot of issues that are ranging from the president's visit to Italy during the G7 summit that happened last week to more of the political conversations which are happening within the country and other discussions that I have prepared here for you on the show. The guests that I've invited over, I'll be letting you in on the details in just a short while and what kind of conversations we're having here on Biashara Tuesday. I just want to let you know that this week is a week of boycotts and protests. That is what is seen across very many spheres of either public spheres or even in the government. Let's begin with the week where, of course, Monday boycotted to begin us a new week by being a holiday. So that was the first boycott of the week. We are starting the week today on Biashara Tuesday, and that's why, as one of those reasons, we didn't have art and culture on that fateful day. So yesterday was a holiday, a boycott from Monday, as the week is now beginning today as the first day of your weekday. More boycotts expected today and protests as Kenyans take to the streets of Nairobi to protest the finance bill of 2024. Organizers of this boycott, termed Occupy Parliament, have finalized on the strategies and have issued flyers and information on those who would like to participate to join them at 12 o'clock today in front of Parliament as we wait on the voting of that finance bill of 2024. The finance bill is expected to go into law as of 1st July 2024. The Kenya Kwanza government and its members of Parliament are saying they will vote yes. They will not vote no. The only reason they will not vote no is because they have already thought out what to amend in the finance bill. According to insights from their members or their fellows in the Finance and Planning Committee of Parliament, which is handling the finance bill, will be tabled today. They say they've gotten insights on where exactly there will be amendments. One of those is there will be the scrapping away of the VAT, which has been imposed on bread, on motor vehicle tax, and also other provisions. Whether that is true or not, we'll find out later during the day when this shows up in the halls of Parliament. Very keenly following up on that and, of course, discussing more of it as it shows up on the headlines this morning on Biashara Tuesday. Boycotts are happening, more of them, of course, now from the governors as well, who are saying, governors actually from the coastal region, who are saying they will not show up in a meeting which has been convened or has been called to happen in State House to discuss the ban of Mogoka in the coastal region. This is a big conversation happening as coastal region leaders are saying they will not allow the importation or the movement of Mogoka from Meru and its counties and the surrounding counties which are known for the production of this, and they will not also be showing up to that meeting which has been called by the Chief of Staff at State House. Whether this is likely to bring a scuffle between them and the president is something we're waiting to see, as the president is now back in the country and expected, of course, to deliver a few remarks here and there, from the happenings in politics to this between the governors and the state. The judiciary also finds itself in a very tricky situation as judicial workers are staging boycotts in services following that shootout which happened in Makadara Law Courts, where a magistrate by the name of Magistrate Monica lost her life after rounds of ammunition were fired in a situation that, of course, was already highlighted here on KUTV Kenya and other media channels. Something that happened last week, and of course today has been marked by the CJ as a day of mourning for the judicial service and, of course, the whole fraternity. The workers of the judicial service are saying they will be going on a protest, or in protest, a series of protests from this week on Thursday. So this is a week that is laden with a lot of that boycotts and protests, and we'll be following up with those updates and bringing them to you. Something else that is already showing trouble is the planned hiring of JSS teachers, 46,000 of them who have been asking for permanent and pensionable contracts. They requested, or the Teacher Service Commission requested for 30 billion Kenyan shillings. The ministry allocated only 13 billion Kenyan shillings, which means they fell short by 17 billion, which was supposed to also go towards catering to the contracts of these 46,000 intern teachers of junior secondary schools. Will we see more boycotts and protests from them? I am also following up on that in this series of downing of tools happening in across very many spheres within the economy of the Republic of Kenya. I'll be giving you updates on how the shilling is faring on, the Bitcoin exchange rate, Kenyan shillings to one Bitcoin, how that's looking like, the dollar, and also much more information in matters of finance. But first, we have a look at the roads, what is happening out there, which routes you can use, and of course, what kind of cautionary measures you should be taking as you head out for work and business. For those fans of KUTV Rise today as well, I'd like to inform you that unfortunately, one of us was involved in a road accident, a very grisly road accident over the weekend. That is Ojwang Mariam, my colleague here on KUTV, and also a host of KUTV Rise Today Art and Culture Monday, which comes to you on Monday. Luckily, he is alive and well and recuperating. We are hoping that he gets well quick, and we are hoping that you can also put him in your prayers and your best wishes as we wait for Ojwang Mariam to be back to work. All the best to Ojwang Mariam and quick recovery to him as well. Thank you very much for those who will be wishing him the same throughout the week. Welcome to Biashara Tuesday. We'll be focusing on business, politics, the economy, and technology. Send me your feedback on social media platforms at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_OKENYE. Welcome to the show. Let's have fun. What's happening on those roads? Let me know. It's cold out there, actually, weather-wise. I'll be giving you the weather updates, how you can prepare for your day and for your week. But road-wise, niambie, kunakaje, where you are you stuck? There are other routes that you know people can use. I have information for you in the meantime as you prepare to give me what is happening on your end. But first, EPRA, tunamulika what the petroleum products are looking like in terms of prices. The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, tongue twister, has given us information on what the changes have looked like or are going to look like between the 15th of June 2024 to 14th of June 2024. Maximum retail petroleum prices in Kenya for this period. I see that super petroleum has dropped from 192 per liter to 189 per liter. Diesel from 179 to 173, and kerosene from 168 to 163. 1 liter of petroleum is going for 189. Imeshuka from where it was at the beginning of the year. We were doing 215 at a liter. So this is looking good for road users out there, and take advantage of that in this June to July cycle, according to EPRA. So by 15th of July, we'll be likely seeing new prices here, given the finance bill will be in effect from 1st July of this year. How's that going to look like? Do not hoard, but ensure that you're preparing yourself in advance. Road users, what is happening out there? Mathri Route is giving me the information. Transport and traffic conditions in the city of Nairobi. Lakini kama uko Kisumu, Nairobi is catered for. Kama uko Kisumu, Mombasa, elsewhere, Turkana. If you're stuck in like a camel traffic situation, unatuambia in Wajir and Garissa. Sakwa Bondo anasema, now the fuel prices have gone down. We hope Mathri Route will advise all motorists to lower bus fares for their customers. utangoja kweli sakwa, you will wait, but if it happens wherever you're at, kama uko route ambayo wameshukisha bei, let us know how that's looking like. But we know for sure if it goes up by 1 shilling, prices will hike immediately. But if you've seen anything where wamesaidia, let us know so that we give them a shout out in helping Kenyans survive these tough times. Maina Martin anasema kwani bulbs za brakes ni how much? Hapa KAMT Sacco hawana kitu, hawana bulbs za brakes. So that is from Maina Martin. Anatuambia hivyo ndo kuna car wherever he's at. I don't know where KAMT Sacco is, but if you're in that route, waambie wa install bulbs za brakes. Wameambiwa hapo. Festus Silongo, caution drivers about that road, especially which road is this? The Moyale to Nairobi. Moyale Nairobi. So anasema caution drivers about that road, especially the Sololo Moyale sides. For insensitive drivers who use 170 kilometers per hour, you feel like normal, but it's actually a death warrant. So this is coming from an accident which actually happened where 4 people were killed 3 days ago after a bus heading to Moyale from Nairobi was involved in a road accident. You're being cautioned or being informed here by Festus Salongo that your route ukwa death warrant if you're doing speeds that are exceeding what is expected of you. So especially in the areas of Sololo, Moyale, even though tunaambiwa Thika Road, the situation is getting bad from Wendani. That is the update we have here this morning. So kama unatoka Thika and you're going to town from Wendani Kahawa, it's not looking good for you, and we'd love to know what exactly is causing this kind of situation. Westlands outbounds is a little packed between Mirage and the GTC Towers. Some roadworks are still going on, but then there's a smooth ride thereafter to town. Westlands outbound is a little packed between Mirage and GTC Towers. Some roadworks are going on there, smooth ride after that. As we plan further repairs on Mombasa Road near Konza City, please don't repeat the same mistake, Kenha, which caused motorists to go through untold suffering recently because of the diversions on both sides of the highway. That's what we're having here this morning. Updates from Mombasa Road, from Westlands, from Thika Road, kumeshikana kutoka Kahawa Wendani, and then also to caution you if you're going towards the sides of Moyale. Ojong Mariam was actually involved in a road accident that involved a motorbike. So we are cautioning boda riders, when you're out there, tumia helmet, pole tutafika. You will carry as many people as possible. Use the right routes, do not use the wrong side of the highway, not cut unnecessarily. There's a term which is gaining popularity amongst road users in Nairobi, which is it's always undo the guy. Yani mali kuna shida tu, it's always undo the guy. If you see a building collapse, unaulizwa hapa shida inaweza kuwa wapi? I don't know, but I'm sure a boda guy was involved. Let's not have that as something that we normalize and eventually don't take caution. So as you go out there, arrive alive. Those are the traffic updates from Biashara Tuesday. We're getting back to business. There are more conversations happening here this morning, from hate speech to a very interesting community-based organization that you want to hear about, how they're involving disabled and the youth in society to deliver desirable products to customers, but also doing it in a way that is very sustainable. Tune in for that. I'll be right back. Gatina Agribusiness Youth Group. This is the community-based organization that we're having a conversation with here this morning. They are based in the areas of Gatina, Dagoretti, North. They have a lot of projects and social initiatives in the areas of social entrepreneurship. They've done a lot in fish farming, in farming itself, in trying to get youth into business by accessing loans. There's art, which they repurpose waste materials and create products that you can buy and create employment opportunities for these young people and disabled in society in a way that is sustainable. That is of interest to us here. There are a team of 20 youth, and I've also partnered with other organizations that I'm seeing here, like Raising Hearts Foundation, the Mau Mau CBO, and Art and Flower Campus Point organization, and many more, which they will let us know once they grace our sets in a short while. So I'll be having this conversation in a very short while. If you have questions, if you're someone who's been wanting to bring people together in your community, start this kind of project, how do you do that? What kind of structures do you need? How is this useful for you? And how do you make money from it? Because they're also trying to create employment, to empower youth, and to ensure that they're making money out of it. Peter Muisio is the chairman of that community-based organization I mentioned, Gatina Agribusiness Youth Group from Dagoretti North. So watu wa Dagoretti, kama mko hizo sides now, how just care about this CBO, tune into the show, send us your questions. If you want to join them, if you want to be a part of the activities, this is the time for you to ask all the questions that you have, and get yourself ready with a pen and paper and write a structure on where you can begin. Apart from that, we're also having a look at hate speech matters here on the show. For the second time, we are sitting down with members of CRECO. CRECO is also a youth-led organization or group, if I might term it as so, that is looking at matters of civic education in the areas of governance and leadership. It is in full Constitution and Reform Education Consortium. Constitution and Reform Education Consortium. CRECO will be here to let us know of how hate speech is tied in with the proliferation of digital media. We are interacting in online spaces, and it is increasing the amount of hate speech that we are seeing every day. How does disinformation, misinformation propagate this? How do you combat hate speech if it affects you or those who are around you? If you have questions on that, the strategies, the tools that you can use, the ones that are there available to you in terms of the digital platforms, and also how you can use the community around you to sensitize people against hate speech. Those conversations are happening here, and you'd like to tune in and wait on that. If you have questions, again, leave them on KUTV Kenya, where we are streaming on YouTube. I'll be sitting down for that conversation with Timothy Kimayo, who's a community specialist and young activist, and coming back again for a second time is Donna Morara, a digital democracy champion from CRECO. Those are the conversations we have prepared here for you on Biashara Tuesday, and of course, whatever is there on the headlines in the dailies, grab yourself a copy. I'll be with you in just a short while.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
The folks are going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu. Pepo pa ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
this your first time?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared, but I can do this.
Yeah.
Mess with me. Yeah, let's do this, man.
You need to look for high quality friends.
I'm from Kingston, Jamaica, you know Portmore. That's my village.
Kanga tu chini hapo ukinyedhia ukikatia mademo akipita.
Sinaweza saa hii nimekuja kukopesa choo.
Lola ni programu inayokupa fursa ya kutizama video zozote pindi tu unapokuwa na nafasi. Hadithi za kukupa motisha, drama, maisha ya vyuo vikuu, teknolojia, masuala ya jamii, kuzuru maeneo tofauti, spoti, burudani na zaidi. Pata programu ya Lola sasa kwenye rununu yako kwa yote unayohitaji.
Kaunti maarufu kwa kuzalisha maziwa na ukuzaji wa majani chai. Pia, serikali ya kaunti inawahimiza wakulima kukumbatia mitindo mingine ya kilimo kuzidisha mapato.
Kama kuna kikundi moja inafanya biashara ya kuuza kuku, hao pia tumewafadhili kuwafunza jinsi ya kuhandle zile kuku kwa sababu wanaleta kwa wingi.
Haya yote tunakuletea katika Boresha Kilimo, toleo la kaunti ya Bomet.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa.
This and that you study. If you're not in class, you're in the field.
Najua students mnapenda kulala. What I do when I get broke.
If the money is not enough, we find some of us wenye tunaingia in betting.
Kuna challenges mingi.
Now we're here 4 years later, about to graduate. What do I say?
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
Nice. All right, we're just preparing ourselves for this conversation, which is coming to you right now. We are speaking with chairman of Gatina Youth Group and also a director at Super Clean Soap, which is part of the products we have here on the table with me. I'm sure it's something that you can see. Yes, right there. You can see those two. Those are products from Super Clean Soap. And I'm going to be among the people ambao wata enjoy this product. I'm being told, I hope Ata changed mind right after we have this discussion, but he's told me that these products are multi-purpose for cleaning, for household purpose, and this is a liquid detergent. Probably we'll get to know if there are other products under the same, under the same line, but I'm going to be enjoying this and giving you a review after. This is part of what is being done by a couple of youth in Dagoretti North who've come together under a community-based organization. There are initiatives under this organization which we are going to go into, this being a flagship of one of them, and many others like repurposing of waste products into something that is desirable by consumers and in a way that is sustainable for the environment. Before I get into all the details and then leave the man here on set with nothing to tell us, let him introduce himself and inform us. Bwana Peter,
yes.
How's it like at Gatina Agribusiness Youth Group and what your role is?
So first of all, I'm Peter.
Yes.
I'm the chairman at Gatina Agribusiness Youth Group and also a director at Super Clean Soap. Super Clean Soap is a project under Gatina Youth Group where we make these soaps so that we can empower the reliable youth. By the term reliable, we mean those guys, those youth who are wamejituma kwa society, those who believe in themselves and those who believe that they can create an impact in the communities and also in their families.
Okay.
We also have families. Since I'm a family guy,
okay.
I also have a daughter,
Nice,
and
nice.
being focused in these organizations, I am living through that.
Okay.
Yes.
Happy belated Father's Day.
Yeah. Thank you.
How was that like?
It was my first Father's Day, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, how was it like? First time Father's Day.
I liked the experience since I have never gotten the experience.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
Now it has sunk in. You're a father.
Now I'm a father. I have to be responsible.
Nice.
Yes.
Speaking of responsibility, you've mentioned that youth ambao wanajituma.
Yes.
When me and my fellow youth tukidiscuss,
yes.
Kuna hii kitu tunaambiwa tujitume.
Yes.
Tumejiuliza tunajituma tunaenda wapi?
Yeah.
Najituma kwenda wapi? Kujituma, mtu amejituma anakaaje? If you will describe that.
So first of all, the moment Gatina Agribusiness came in my mind, it was back in 2019.
Yes.
I wasn't started. And kujituma, it means that coming up with the idea and then working on that idea, committing yourself in that idea, and not expecting that it'll work just like that. So the commitment that I'm talking about is you'll take some years so that what you are working on must manifest. Yeah, so kujituma is manifestation of your idea.
You manifest first,
yes,
and then act on it.
Put on action and keep believing that at the end of the tunnel there's a light.
Okay.
Yes.
So Dagoretti North, hapo kuna vijana wanajituma sana.
Sana.
How did you bring these people together to start the community-based organization?
So first of all, to bring people together is not an easy thing.
Yes,
since
I bet.
We are not earning, like we sell these, mtu anakula commission yake. So atusemi that I pay them. I want that person mwenye ako committed and knows that there is future in this idea, So wengi wamekuja na wengi wameenda because some don't believe, but some keep believing. Since I have to tell them, you have to believe in this, and it's going to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very interested because I have also in very many spheres tried to bring together or tried to be part of people who are coming together to form a group.
Yeah.
And sometimes kuna shida ya approach. Where do we begin? Do we start by the easy to go to inakuanga sako. Tuanzishe chama.
Yes.
Tuzungushe pesa, tusaidiane here and there. Sometimes it doesn't work. Then other times it's let me think of a business idea, bring people together to tafute capital. How is it like? What is the first idea that you pitched to these people? And is that I think we'll say the best way to approach bringing young people together when you're najituma?
So first of all, I started the organization and my other director called Ann Wanjiku. She's also a treasurer at Gatina Youth Group. So pitching to them about the idea wasn't an easy thing till to date.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing since I'm still pitching to them to join us and let us generate income to ourselves and impact to others. So bringing these people together is not easy, bro. It's not.
I bet.
Yes. It's not.
I have tried and I've failed a lot of times. So that's why I'm really impressed by what you've been able to do so far.
Yes, and I'm also strict to them. I'm really strict since I see the future, you know. Na tuko na rules zetu. We have to follow our rules. Yes.
Okay. So what was the very first idea that started this group together? And now I know you have many more which we'll get into.
Yes.
Including the fish farming, the business project, working with disabled in society.
Yes.
The very first idea that brought your group together, and now we have journeyed all the way to Super Clean Soap.
So Super Clean Soap was the first idea.
Okay.
Is a company under the project, under the organization.
Yes.
So soap making has been there since 2019. Though we are still upgrading on the product.
Okay.
We have partnered with other, we are working with other government organizations such as KUTV to enhance or to upgrade the product.
Okay.
And our products are also registered under KEBS. So we are working on the standardization mark, the S mark, so that we can widen the market.
Okay.
So this was the first idea. Yeah.
Your focus is on agriculture and business.
Yes.
Why that specific sector of industry?
Agribusiness is a wide project. So the reason why we major in agribusiness is that we have opportunities. Like we have to cultivate so that we generate food for ourselves, you know. So at Gatina we also have a farm there where we engage ourselves in farming, so that we also have horticultural activities there. Yeah, so farming is a very diverse project.
There's a lot you can do with farming. Let's get to know under the other projects. I have here a document that shows me, of course, what you're up to, from cleaning detergents. Maybe let's get cleaning detergents out of the way first, yeah?
Yes.
And then we can discuss the other projects.
Okay.
So what do we have here for someone who's watching and they see this super clean multi-purpose liquid detergent? Is this made by the people in the youth group? And what is the process like?
So this is a product, we made it, and I'm also the one who edited the poster, the sticker, I mean.
Okay.
So
you're a graphic designer.
I'm a graphic designer, and I had to teach myself. You know, the moment you're starting something, kila kitu, you have to do everything. Yeah. So we make the soap, we brand it, and then we go market it outside the market there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The chemical process behind it, are you also the mastermind, or do you have other people who are?
As I said, we are working with KUTV.
Yes.
I'm the one going for the training. We have incubation training at KUTV, secured for organization. So we are going there so that we can balance the chemicals to come up with a nice product, you know. Yeah, hatutaki zile products zinaweza kuchoma mkono, vitu kama hizo. And then we want to make people believe in our product and believe in us.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Let us know what this can be used for. It's a multi-purpose liquid detergent for someone who needs it. In what ways can they put it into use?
So this is a multi-purpose detergent that cleans all the surfaces. It cleans the floor, the windows, the toilet, your car, utensils, and also laundry. Yeah. let me say, is a diverse product that
As a piga shower now.
You can wash your hands, but piga shower, I can't advise you to.
Yes.
Yes.
But I bet you can wash my sins away. This small purpose liquid detergent.
Yes.
By young people from Dagoretti North.
Yes.
So is this for sale yet, or it's not out?
This one is for sale.
Okay.
And nikitoka tu hapa, I'm going to the market direct. Yeah.
Okay, where can people buy it then?
So you can buy through our Facebook page, Gatina Agribusiness Youth Group. You can buy, I am going to share my contacts so that when you need a delivery, you can just call me. And you can, tutapatana pia pale kwa njia. Yeah, so tukipatana pia, make sure to promote us.
You're planning to put it in stores anytime soon?
So after KEBS verification, we are going to widen the market to even to the regional, like Eastern Africa. Yeah, since KEBS gives us the opportunity to sell to Tanzania, Uganda. So we know that the market is diverse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. One thing I noticed about how you describe the products and the work that you do is that you want to simultaneously deliver something that consumers like.
Yes.
And also in a way that is sustainable. Could you let us in on what that philosophy looks like with this product and anything else under the youth group?
So by the term simultaneously delivering happiness to our client, it means that this product, we have partnered with other organizations such as Raising Nuts. So the moment you buy this product, you also give back to society. You not only empower me, but you also empower those vulnerable children from children's homes. Since 20% of it goes to supporting those children.
Okay.
So we kinda deliver happiness to everyone.
Yes,
to you, the customer,
to you, and
to me,
back to you, and then you transfer it to someone else.
Yes.
I like that loop, and I'd like to be part of that happiness when you're circulating it within your crew. Now, if we are speaking of this as one of the products, what do the others look like, or the other initiatives under the CBU?
So we also have other products such as multi-purpose. I mean, dishwash called Mr. Bright. We also have Cleans, is a acidic toilet cleaner.
Yes.
We have partnered with the Compass Point. Compass Point is an organization that deals with empowering forced-free people. So through Compass Point, we are enabled to recycle all the waste materials to useful items such as wine bottles. We convert them to wine glasses or flower vases. Yes.
Okay, I've seen a couple of those products. Yes, like the ones we have there on the screen.
Yes.
Which one is that?
That one is the lampshade. So the upper part is the thread, and the lower part is a wine bottle.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I've actually been looking for a lampshade. So this is a good place to go and get one that looks this nice.
Yes.
Okay. And
that one is also a lampshade. The bottom part is like all carton and also gunia to make recycle like that. The upper part is a wine glass to make it a
half.
Yeah, a wine bottle. Yeah, I mean.
Very, very, very nice. And these are on display. Is this something that I can walk in somewhere in Dagoretti North and come witness?
You can come to visit our site at Gatina. The moment you are at Gatina kwa Chief, you are almost at our place.
Okay.
Yes.
Mtu akiulizia tu hapo, they'll be directed to...
Utapointiwa tu.
Najulikana sana huko na my youth men. The guys that you're working with here,
yes.
The skill sets that they have in crafting this pieces of art and remodeling them and repurposing, do you train them, or do they come with the skills before joining the organization?
Yeah, so basically we train them a little bit, and then we also watch YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is full of everything that
YouTube
you need.
University.
Yes.
Nice.
So we engage them in watching the videos and practicing what we have just trained them. Yeah.
This is the first time I'm hearing a group that is using technology in that way to train their people.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very nice.
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you.
All right, so other organizations that you are partnering with in the projects, just if you'd like to mention them at this point and what they do in brief.
So I want to mention one of our partners, Raising Nuts Foundation, is a charity organization that deals with empowering children in children's home through raising a talent, mentoring them, and also supporting them in basic materials such as stationaries, soaps, those basics. I want to mention about Compass Point. They empower forced to flee people, and my Momo CBO, and the project Super Clean Soap now. Yeah, so those are the team that we are working with at the moment. And one of our core values, we also encourage other partners so that we unite together and generate impact in the community.
Okay.
Yes.
You could have gone straight up and come together as young people, started a business, maybe a club, weaver in Dagoretti, and started its all profit. But what you're doing involves giving back to society, which is essentially social entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Right? Why are you concerned with the needs of society?
So first of all, as youth, we are left aside. It's like we are set aside. We don't have those opportunities to nurture our talents, and most of them wanapotelea kwa crime na pia drugs, vitu kama hizo, and this is led through idleness, but the moment we believe that the moment we give a youth an opportunity to explore their talent, they are going to manage their time wisely, so that's why I chose that department to empower them. Since I am also a youth, I have responsibility, I have to pay my bills, but there are no job opportunities for us all. Or unazapata youth ali drop out ama alikosa school fees, akakuwa forced kuacha shule. So huyo mtu akienda kwa company kukuwa employed, most probably atapata hiyo kazi, But now why can't we employ ourselves now?
Okay.
Yes.
And that is what you're up to now.
Yes.
Giving employment opportunities and business opportunities really as well to other young people. How is that like? If someone wants to join the organization and akuwe a part of them, are there some qualifications that you have from their end? Kama mimi sasa nikitaka nikuwe a part of these young people who are creating amazing stuff, is there room for me?
Yes, there's a room for you, since we have a lot. We have a lot. Repurposing those waste materials to useful items is a lot of work. So we need many youths. We need volunteers, we need partners, we need sponsors. We all need the community engagement. Yes.
Okay. Beautiful artwork, by the way. They're still displaying the products. You also have artists who do the graffiti and the graphic work.
Yeah, we also have artists. If you want us to draw a portrait for you,
that's something that
it's
you can do as well.
One-time thing.
Nice. This is a one-stop shop for youth activity and innovation. So I'm really interested. I'd actually love to visit if you will allow me to come and just see.
You're welcome. Mara tukitoka hapa sahi, let us go there. Tuende field pamoja. We'll experience pia.
Lazima nifikishe soap kwa nyumba kwanza.
Yes.
Mama anze kazi.
Kweli.
All right. Now, is there a fee to join? Is there registration? Is there membership? How does this work like?
So membership, you have to pay 1,000 bob for the constitution of a group, and also you'll be kuchanga 300 every month. That enables us to run the organization, pay the bills, pay the rent of the area, such kind of thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Very nice. There are other projects here that I was looking at.
Yes.
In horticulture, art and flower gallery that you have there. I've actually seen the photos of the flowers and some of the art that you've shown on air, and the farming. So maybe we can speak about the farming and horticulture and the fish farming at the same time. Are this the same youth that pia wao ni multi-purpose? Detergent.
Gatina Youth Group is a diverse organization. We want to engage the community. So if you are a farmer, you believe that you can come up with an innovative way of fish farming, you are welcome to our organization.
Okay.
If you believe that you can farm some onions, all the vegetables, things like that, you are also encouraged to join our community, our organization.
Do you have a parcel of land for this, or where is the site at? The fish ponds and the horticulture sites.
So one of our mother who believes in us and who believes in people wenye wanapenda kujituma donated the land for us. Nice. Where we can do everything that we feel like we want to. Yes.
Oh, very nice. Which brings me to the question that I wanted to get insight from you on. There's need for support, whether financially or otherwise, for anyone else who is starting this kind of organization. How do you approach it? How do you raise funds? How do you get that kind of someone to give you a piece of land that you can use? How someone else who's looking up to you and want to approach in this way?
So in our organization, funding is a big problem. It's a big problem since there are no opportunity for funding.
Okay.
Or rather, let me say that the government says that there are opportunity for funding, but there are no opportunities for funding. How to get those opportunities is difficult.
They exist on paper only?
They only exist on media, paper, campaigning, such things, So funding is difficult for us. Okay. That's why we raise our own money through these projects.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can say that private sectors are kind of the best in funding.
Okay.
NGOs or the NGOs. That's why we encourage them to partner with us.
Okay.
Yes.
That's your approach.
Yes.
It's tougher to wait on the youth fund and the women fund.
It is difficult. Since 2019, I've been trying to apply for a youth fund from government organization, but it's difficult.
Even with all these projects, you have a lot to show, man.
Yes, I've been sending emails, proposal, financial assistance, but no one is getting back. Yes.
Okay.
And the other day, I called one of the
if you mention their name, even better.
I called one of the government offices and I wanted to have a meeting with them. Then I'm calling this lady. I'm telling her I want to come book an appointment with you guys. I want to come physically. Now the lady tells me you have to write an email. Then I'm telling how am I sure that I'm going to get the response? I'm using my I want to come to your office to book an appointment one-on-one, then go back. I'm not saying that I want to talk to
just want to an appointment on it.
And now email and never respond.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually they know they will not respond to the email. That's why it's like a soft rejection.
Sure.
To me to email.
And you can't be sure that this message reached that person.
The right person.
Yes.
Yeah, itaekwa pale spam irushe bin kama umedishi.
That's how it is hard.
So you rejected their rejection.
I rejected the rejection. I said that let us sell the product now. Yeah.
Shame on you, whoever that is, man. But you can see clearly, even when we push ourselves to the limits and try to innovate, the environment is not as conducive. And I think it's a chance for us to hold out on the government.
Yes.
We're supportive.
Kabisa.
Wanasema tujitume alafu atusaidie. Ndio tumejituma, man.
Let me tell you, bro, that our MP, Dagoretti North, I sent letters there. I called the office. Now this is another situation.
Yes.
I called the office, but no response.
Yes.
Decoration North from our office to our site is just walking distance. But we never see her in our site. Right. But we have to encourage her to visit us. Yes.
MP wa Dagoretti North, CKJ.
Anaitwa Honorable Beatrice Elachi.
Beatrice Elachi, former speaker of Nairobi County.
Yeah.
Yes, Honorable Beatrice Elachi. Saidia vijana.
Bana jo.
Maze.
Tuko chini by the way kuna funds. Yeah, tuko chini mbaya.
If you got funds, what do you think is a greater vision of you?
Bro, if we get funding. Hey.
You can't even imagine.
I can't imagine since, bro, we need a transport. We need a canter to carry these products to Uganda, to other regions, We need more products. We need material. We need containers. We need stickers. We need
a lot.
We need a lot.
Need a lot, man.
Yeah.
It can't be done with one hand only, so it's important that we join forces.
Yes.
Wale wanataka kupartner na wewe.
Yes.
The government that needs to do their part in creating a conducive environment, and also ensuring that these funds are not only existing on paper. Actually, on this show, we've tried so much to find someone who's benefited from this funds, youth funds, women funds. It's very rare to come across someone nakwambia last year bana walinipatia kitu mzuri, walipea kitu nono, ni
those who benefit are
around the ones in power.
Hao
ndo wanajua.
But now sisi wananchi time ya campaign ndo tunaona hawa say
sisi sasa hiyo time tunamata
campaign since hawa watu wengi kwa office. I've never seen them walking around. Yes,
but if it was a campaign period, trust me, ungetoka hii show hivi
kama nimepigiwa
tena. Si amekushika pale anataka kulazimisha kupatia pesa.
Yani inakuwa hard
but
sana.
saizi hawezi. Yeah, so it's important that
I don't get to visit his office for real. Yeah. We better do it ourselves now.
Yes. That's actually really good. Yeah. And we're hoping that more give up. Ukiona wakusaidii wafungue milango zao, achana milango yao. Enda utengeneze yako huko kando.
Na ziko milango zetu ziko.
Si ndio? Ndo hizi tunaziona.
Ndo hizi sasa.
Yeah, so reach out to Gatina Agribusiness Youth Group.
Yes.
Interesting. I think now that we've already warmed up to this conversation, I can bring in this very sick piece of humor I wanted to drop here. Gatina means a small dog in Kikuyu language, sindio? So it's not the size of the dog.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, it's not the size.
Ni Gatina lakini
ni kitu kubwa sana.
Ni Gatina lakini kazi inafanya ni
kubwa sana. Yeah.
All right. Congratulations, bro, for all the work that you've done so far.
Thank you.
And I'm wishing you all the best with all the initiatives that are under Gatina Agribusiness Youth Group. And also, we shall visit the site.
We are welcome, guys.
Asante sana.
Yes.
Just to give you a chance to call to people who you'd like, or partner na wewe, the guys you'd like to use your product, and maybe any other message you may leave out. This is a chance. Have fun with the camera.
Okay, so I want to invite children, all the schools around Westlands, or the private sectors around Westlands, kindly reach us, try our products. These are the best products for you guys, and through that you'll be giving back to the society. Through that you'll be empowering us and creating employment and fighting against the increase of crime and idleness in our communities. Soap is a diverse product that can be used in every institution, so I want to encourage you guys to support us and support our initiatives. Yeah.
All right. I like that your target audience is mainly the schools, sindio?
No, the target audience is schools. We have hospitals, we have industrial areas, we have even restaurants, clubs.
Large institutions with this en masse.
Yes, the market is there. The market is there. It's ready for us.
All right.
Yes.
Mkuje bana mpata na jamaa wa kwetu hapa. The market is ready for you also. If you wanted to get into business, this is a chance for you. Kuja weka mamita zako hapa alafu
invest,
yeah? Invest in this young man alafu you will see the benefits in society at large and also back into your pocket. That loop of happiness venye alikuwa anasema. Deliver happiness to the consumer back to me, and then back to society.
Yes.
The kind of support you're offering in the charity and the organizations that you have partnered with. I see a comment from Asachi Ashley. Anasema OKENYE is up, so am I. I am from Dagoreti. Actually, I'm from Dagoreti.
Yeah.
Anasema, and seeing my counterparts do active business in the society makes me wonder what I am doing in the constituency. Anyways, Biashara Tuesday got us. Umesha motivate mtu anajiuliza
akuje
hata yeye afanye nini na vijana
akuje tuongee tujue vile tutasaidiana.
Ashley, umesikia? Yes, toka hapo mahali uko Ngong Road uteremke Dagoretti North
Gatina hapo utapata.
Yes, so if they want to visit anyone else outside there who'd like to visit, wakikuja tumesema Gatina, Dagoretti.
You can also pin on the map Super Clean Soap. Ukipin to Super Clean Soap itakuleta mpaka kwa site. Yes.
Very nice. There you have it. A shout out to anyone who's been supportive or who's watching as we close up.
A shout out to Raising Us Foundation for believing in us and believing that us partnering together we are going to create impact in the community. Shout out to my members, shout out to our directors, and shout out to anyone outside there who believes in us. Shout outs to Compass Point, shout outs to Momau CBO and everyone.
All right, Peter Muisio, chairman of the Gatina Agribusiness Youth Group.
Yes.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
I get to keep this?
Yeah, that's yours.
Sawa. Pesa ni sabuni ya roho, lakini leo niko na sabuni na pesa. Moja. My God.
Go try it.
Yes, I will try it and give a review to you and to the people who are watching.
Okay.
All right, taking that short break. Biashara Tuesday, this is it. We are coming back after a short while. More questions to be handled, more conversations coming up. Don't go too far.
Natoka ile mtenye Maslay Queen utembea na visi ndio nikawa tamada vijana.
Akajiona mdeadly kushinda waganga wote wa Kitui. Hakujua hii kitu hii ni tricky.
Alafu imekuwa chai. Ite kitu kidogo just to get in between my thighs at I love you.
Are you healthy, or rather, do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? According to WHO, health is regarded as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Welcome to Focus on Health, a show on all matters health, wellness, and lifestyle. On this show, we cover a wide variety of topics, inclusive of but not limited to dental, optical, mental, reproductive health, and so much more. Join me, Joy Bofenda, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on KUTV for compelling insights and discussions on all matters health. See you then.
Focus on Health, your weekly dose of health and wealth information on KUTV.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday, we ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
Where we ask the coolest questions in science. Let's go! Is yogurt really just rotten milk? Why do humans need sharks to survive? How did a 12-year-old boy from Africa invent modern vanilla farming? How do you deliver medicine to a chimpanzee? Can poop be useful? How can you save the planet by reducing air pollution? To help us answer these questions, we are inviting some wonderful guests from the world of science. They will enlighten you, make you hungry for knowledge, oxygenate your brain, and make your ideas flow. This is Engine Season 3. Let's go!
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Young and old are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kukuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu, jibarikiwe na Mungu, iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta.
Yanayokukumba tuna maizi, tuna kutetea sisiri. Kwa kweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline.
Biashara Tuesday, live on air. The hashtag to use rise today, hashtag Biashara Tuesday. Tag us on @KUTV Kenya, @Richard_OKENYE. Hashtag Occupy Parliament, hashtag reject finance bill, hashtag kuna pitisha bill. Come on, who's this? Who's doing counteractive activities on Twitter with pitisha bill? Nani ya pitisha bill? Those guys who are betraying the cause. Come on, you don't have any shame, tafadhali. Yeah? Leo tuko na struggles, tunataka to make sure zimeisha. Occupy Parliament, I'll get you that information later because I want you to get the correct information. So we've been tackling disinformation, misinformation on this show before. We've had, I think, 3 of the shows that have highlighted how to note that, how to notice it, how to react, how to respond. And today we focus on hate speech. What is hate speech and how do you know this is hate speech? How do you deal with hate speech? There's some people who feel like cyberbullying isn't a thing. I've seen statements like, just log out. I mean, you could just log off and walk away from your computer. If it was that easy, then we wouldn't be having these conversations. That's why it's important for us here on Biashara Tuesday to also highlight how hate speech is propagated and proliferating with digital media. taking place all across the world. Even in the rural places now, the most interior parts of Kenya, they have access to social media. It's no longer a reserve of the people with Wi-Fi and people who live in urban centers. So how do you prevent your mother, your grandmother, from getting hate speech? Utapata analia hapo, anasema kuna mtu amemwambia sijui nini. Utamwelezeaje hate speech ni nini? Na hawa ni trolls. Umwambie huyu ni bully. Utamwelezeaje bully anakaaje online? We are tackling all that. And any questions that you have with Timothy Kimayo, communication specialist, and as well as Donna Morara, who is a digital democracy champion with the Constitution and Reform Education Consortium. Both of them have been on the show before. So maybe just a short introduction to the people who are seeing them here for the first time, and then we get into the conversation. Ladies first, Donna.
Okay, I've seen that you've decided not to start with hate speech.
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Donna Morara. I am a digital democracy ambassador for OKENYE and also journalist of the year 2023-2024 at USIU. What else? I'm really excited for this conversation, considering today is International Day of Countering Hate Speech.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to the conversations that we're about to have.
Nice. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Timothy?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes. So my name is Timothy Kimayo. I am a communication specialist. I support a non-governmental organization called Inform Action in the communications department. And yes, indeed, it's a timely conversation. I think it's happening at a time when we are really struggling with a lot of, discussions about the finance bill. You can look at the political space now, the angle that is taking. So it's a timely conversation. It's good that we're here to have the discussion, and I look forward to the discussion as well.
All right. Yeah. It's happening on the day of countering against hate speech. Yeah. So we are right on time. Yani, sisi discussions zetu zina happening right on time. We are cooking here. Now, the International Day for Countering Hate Speech, observed globally to raise awareness about the harmful impact of hate speech and promoting strategies for mitigating its effect. With the rise of social media, digital media platforms as well, this is very important for us to have a look at. And I was asking you guys earlier, maybe we can start from that point, Donna. Have you encountered hate speech in your life, whether by giving it? Mm-hmm. I don't know if that will be a confession to a crime, but maybe the people around you, you've noticed how maybe they are with hate speech, or if it has happened to you, even in the most subtle ways. Ndio watu waweze kunotice kuna ile uli brush off, but it's actually hate speech. Could you let us know with perspective from your life?
Yeah. I think first of all, you might want to understand exactly what hate speech is, because these days with anything hate is just, that's just hate speech, you know? But hate speech is any communication, whether it's written, spoken, or even just behavior that attacks an entity, a group of people, a person, and it's based on things like the identity, various identity factors, like their race, their religion, their sexuality, their gender. Those are the things that are considered hate speech. They are termed as hate speech. Now, you've asked about whether I've experienced hate speech. I think probably the best example of this was back when we were in high school. In high school, I had a bunch of Muslim friends. I don't know why, but I really did.
Yes.
And
to be in favor with Allah.
Yeah, I was.
Yes.
So at the time, whenever we would go places, it didn't matter where, but they would receive intense hate sometimes, like, oh, Al-Shabaab, oh, bombing, like they were always associated with terrorism. So I think that was probably the most blatant forms of hate speech that I ever encountered, because I'd never thought about that. But then you go to certain spaces and then you realize how much stigmatization and scapegoating that these people actually are going through, because they are blamed for things that an Islamist terrorist group was doing.
Yes.
So then all of them are painted with that same paintbrush, and that's not true. And that's probably that's the angle that hate speech takes all the time. It's just blatant attacks on people.
What I get there is that it can happen offline.
Yeah.
Yes. It's because now we are speaking of digital spaces. People think that, you know, hate speech is just something that you find with a cyber bully online or a troll. But it can also happen in person. Someone could be just a hater in real life. Yeah. And we'll get to see how those scenarios look like. Timothy, there is a phrase that, as I said earlier, you know, just log out. Just walk away. Is it that easy? And maybe again to tie in with how you've interacted with hate speech in your life.
So let me start by saying that I also have my phrase that you know, hate speech is the poison of the mind. I think it's important to note that, because again, we're talking about we're looking at something that polarizes the communities, something that, you know, disproportionately affects the communities. So working and being in the digital space for quite some time, and also as a communication specialist, focusing on using the digital spaces as a tool for communication, I think hate speech is really a big deal for us today. With the advent of the internet, we have, you know, increasingly use of the digital spaces in terms of, you know, communication. It is actually a challenge, and I'm glad that we're here today, because again, you've truly mentioned that there's need for us to look at the strategies of how we'll be able to counter this kind of a problem. So there are a lot of strategies that we need to look at. Just having having that background of what hate speech means, then we need to critically look at, now we have the internet, how are we able to counter hate speech?
Okay. Yeah. Have you interacted with it in your life? Has someone been a hater to you or to someone around you?
As I had mentioned earlier, I think I'm a passive user of social media as much as I use it to communicate. But again, I have, as she has mentioned, I think this is also happening offline. Yes, because I know that there's things that are happening offline. But with the digital space, I know that this has really increased.
Yes. The root of hate speech normally is around misinformation, disinformation, as she mentioned. A stereotype is still misinformation. It's like everyone with a hijab is a terrorist, or this kind of people, all of them are like that. And fake news at the same time. Would you maybe give us given you're from Inform Action, just an explanation of disinformation and fake news and how this ties into hate speech?
So disinformation is you're doing it deliberately. You are going to an extent where you are manipulating content just to disinform the public. And then misinformation is a situation where you are misinforming, you are spreading information without ascertaining whether that is the truth or not. Because most of the time, even with the digital spaces and spaces like the WhatsApp groups and the forums, local forums that I'm in, I've seen, links that are being shared. And, most of those, the participants in that WhatsApp group then forward those messages. So without them knowing whether that is the truth or not. So I think, yes, that is misinformation. And then now there's the issue of fake news, where you are, writing articles about, someone like OKENYE, that maybe OKENYE wants to vie for the position of, governor in Nairobi County. Yes, so maybe he has, he's working at KUTV and has misappropriated funds at KUTV as a news anchor. I think those are some of the fake news that are being generated in the digital spaces. So again, working in this space, I think that has become even a threat to our democratic processes in Kenya, because I believe that we've achieved a lot as a country, but again, even in our process and engaging even in things like the financial bill today, I think that is a big deal for us. It's a challenge for us. Because again, there are tax provisions that have been provided in this proposal, but there's been that kind of a twisting of information about those tax rates and digital service taxes and whatnot. So I think it's really a big problem for us as a country.
Right. Misinformation, disinformation, fake news, and how that ties into amplifying hate speech. Donna, I would like to hear your submission on that. Fake news, yeah? 10 things you didn't know about Donna. Number 6 will shock you. Such things. How do they amplify hate speech eventually?
I think the first thing that they do is they create a false narrative. So we spoke about hate speech, but we didn't really speak about its forms. So one of the forms that it comes in is scapegoating. Now that's where a group or an individual is blamed for all the misfortunes that a country is experiencing. So see, like how Donald Trump likes to blame Mexicans for increased drug rates, crime rates, and even the drugs coming into the US. That's a form of scapegoating. It was done also in the Nazi Germany with Hitler when he was in power. He liked to blame the Jews for every misfortune that Germans would experience. The idea was that the Jewish people were the ones that were taking away their jobs. They're the reasons why the economy, the German race is not at the top anymore. So again, now people, if they're continuing to consume that information, which is misinformation or disinformation, they believe that, okay, now the reason why I'm not succeeding is because of this person. That creates like a lot of hatred in them, and that's the reason why we had like the Holocaust, because there was so much intense hatred towards this community because of that misinformation. Now that's one of the more extreme ones. The same thing happened even on social media, because we're speaking about the digital spaces and stuff. So there's something called an algorithmic bias. So that's where your algorithm on social media is run by algorithms. So they'll just keep on pushing to you. I don't know if you've ever spoken about wanting a house, Richard, somewhere.
And
then suddenly
I'm like, these houses are available now.
How quick did this start coming? Then you start wondering what's going. That's your algorithm that's at play. So our algorithm is going to start pushing to you houses. Now imagine a scenario where you, let's say you're probably anti-Semitic, or you have a particular hatred towards a certain community. Now that's the stuff that you will continue to consume. That's the stuff that you will get on your content. And then again, social media platforms have noticed that the things that do most well or cause people to be on their phones for longer is sensational content. So they'll bring to you stuff that is very emotionally charging. So you're like so angry when you watch something someone has said the N-word, or someone has spoken ill of a certain community, then you get all riled up. That's what the algorithm does. Now again, on that same note, there's something called echo chambers. Now you see how you keep it. Now echo chambers is where you keep on consuming content that you that reinforces your pre-existing beliefs. So whatever hatred that you might have towards anybody you'll keep on eating that. So you go down that rabbit hole, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and that only just charges you. It makes you even more angry towards these people. So those are the things that misinformation, how it causes someone to become a hater or someone to participate in that hate speech.
Right. The birth of trolls there. That's what I see. That you are perpetually in an echo chamber where even the people you follow or the people around you are supporting your ideology. So you never see a problem with what you're saying. Unasema kesho, they retweet thousands of them, comments and laughter, and you're like, yeah, this is it. You're stuck in that chamber where all your biases are being confirmed by everyone else. And I've noticed something that you've mentioned is that there's real crimes that come out of this. With this kind of hate speech. Maybe I can let Timothy handle that. How are the effects of hate speech? How do the effects manifest, and how do they look like, so that we paint a real picture on how this affects our actual lives, our way of social media and digital spaces?
I think Donna's given a very a picture of how misinformation, disinformation, fake information, is a big deal, and she has mentioned something about the US and how Donald Trump used this social media. And let me give another example during the elections in 2016 of how Donald Trump, there was fake information about how the Pope at that time was mentioned that that is fake information that is supporting Donald Trump. That had a significant impact on how the elections looked like. Understand? So in the Kenyan perspective, and let me take you back to 2017 and 2022.
Yeah.
If you look at how the process was done, and looking at how this election process itself has been, we've seen a lot of manifestation of fake information about who won. You can realize that there was that premature winning of those candidates.
Yes.
And that really affected, the voting process and demoralized most of the participants. So that really has a significant impact, even in how, Kenyans or maybe voters in Kenya, or even those people who are participating in public participation processes like the finance bill, that really has an impact because, again, conversations about how, majority of members of parliament are from Kenya Kwanza. They're obviously going to vote yes because they are in they have the numbers. They're the government. So I think that is how this thing manifests itself. If you look at even 2022, look in terms of the numbers now. If reports were done of how about 83% of Kenyans, or maybe the voters, reported to have encountered fake information, misinformation and disinformation. About 33% of Kenyans at that time, they stated that that kind of misinformation and disinformation affected them.
Yes.
Even the voting processes, and even how the decision-making processes. So for us, that is as I mentioned earlier, it's really a problem for us Kenyans. And in terms of manifestation now, we have the digital spaces, and these are really supported in terms of increasing that the misinformation and the circulation, amplifying that the circulation of this mis and disinformation. So I think we really have to critically understand how we can work jointly. It's a collective responsibility. I think we're going to head there.
Yes.
But again, we need to look at how we're able to involve the young people, because I know that majority of them are the social media users. Yeah.
And real crimes as well, I wanted to mention, we've seen this manifest even in South Africa with xenophobia, in other places where, it's, as you said, these immigrants are taking our jobs. And those conversations are actually popping up even in the Kenyan internet space, where this community doesn't belong here. And that is the kind of real life effects that you can notice. I just wanted us to mention identification now. How do I identify, Donna, that I'm interacting with hate speech, so that I'm not also part of the people who are retweeting it or liking it or thinking it's funny? There's those situations as well. We're like, haha, this is so hilarious, man. Ebu angalia, and you're passing around hate speech. You're reinforcing biases in people and stereotypes eventually. How do I be responsible in noticing and identifying hate speech?
I think it can become a very tricky conversation, this whole hate speech thing, because sometimes it presents itself in the form of memes, like you said. So like, Kisii people are like this, Kalenjins are like this, then you laugh about it, you share, it doesn't seem to, it seems harmless, it doesn't sound like that. But then there are more like aggressive forms of hate speech that I see sometimes people. There's a lady right now on Twitter on TikTok that's trending for saying the N word, and she's white and speaking ill about black people, and it feels like these are conversations that happened a long time ago, like the racism, like blatant racism like that, man. Right? But it's stuff that's happening now. So again, it boils down to the definition of hate speech. What is it? Any type of communication that attacks a group of people, a person, based on those things that I mentioned earlier, of race, sexuality, or gender, and whatnot. So if anything that you are saying, or anything that you're retweeting, anything that you're reposting has content or information of that kind, you probably are engaging in hate speech, and you probably should watch out. Again, I know as individuals we have biases. There are things that we don't like. But these are some of these things. There's some things that you just obvious. That are no. There's no you can't. There's no gray area. There's no gray area here. This is just clearly hate speech. You shouldn't be engaging in activity of this kind. Also, I think we also need to, as a community, practice tolerance towards other communities, because everybody is different. We come from different spaces, different livelihoods, different backgrounds, and a lot of the time hate comes from a place of fearing people that are not like you. So I think if we are able to practice adopt more tolerance in our engagement and interaction with other people who are not like ourselves, we will be in a place where we will not actively engage in hate speech, and that hate culture that is online and offline will die down. Yeah.
How do I notice I'm in an echo chamber? Because it's really tough if everyone around me is reflecting something that in other spaces we call yes men.
Yeah.
You know, I'm surrounded by people like, dope, good, man. Hey, good. Latest tweet, best. How do I notice so that I'm not flourishing in that environment?
Yeah.
Alafu years later, maybe ndo niko like, wow, this is the kind of damage that this is, whether through my own ignorance or I don't know.
Yeah.
How do we make people notice wako kwa echo chambers?
Yeah. I think a lot of the time people who have been in echo chambers and have come on YouTube and other digital platforms to talk about their stories, they always start with the fact that it was just like as a joke at the beginning. You understand? It was like one post about I don't like black people, or I don't like I don't like a certain group of people, and that just started to be the trend. You start consuming it slowly. Then you meet a community that agrees with all of those beliefs, and then you remain stuck in that cycle. It just keeps on ending. It's so vicious. Now, I think if you don't want to be part of that bandwagon, I think it's important that you surround yourself with a very diverse group of people.
Yeah.
Offline and online. For example, I went to USIU. So in USIU, you are interacting with a bunch of people from different cultures and different parts of the planet. You are going to experience different perspectives, different views, and different opinions. And that requires you as a person to not only exercise tolerance, but to also be able to understand that there are opinions that are outside your own and be accepting. If not, you don't have to, agree entirely with them. You agree to disagree, no?
Yes.
I think that also saves you from being in a position where you only hear, yes, I like that idea. That idea is completely... And also, it's important you engage in conversations with a large group of people.
Yes.
Because sometimes you can get so hell-bent on your own opinion that you don't see it any other perspective. But then there's someone, your friend is going to be like, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it in this perspective? It's really interesting, even in my own home.
Like you have to.
We always sit down and we'll have conversations and even debates, very lively debates about things that we think.
Yeah.
And mom's gonna say this, dad's gonna say this, my sisters will say this, and I'm like, oh, okay, I never saw it like that.
Yeah.
It helps you. It opens your mind up, and it stops you from entering that echo chamber that will keep you, hooked on your phone and will re-emphasize the things that you already know to be true.
Yeah.
All
right, Timothy, I want to ask you a very tricky question tying in with that. And it's with now, there's a lot of male empowerment conversations happening online. We have now
mental health.
Yeah, we have male figures who, like guides now. They're the messiahs. I will not mention the names, but these are also part of the echo chambers. Yeah, reinforced. There's some with actual specific dates when this wisdom is passed out. Okay, masculinity is Saturday. I'm being told to stop chickening out. Okay, masculinity Saturday and the likes. We have the likes of Andrew Tate. We have the likes of Tristan Tate. We have those male figures who've popped out. Let me mention Kenyan so that it doesn't seem like I'm being biased.
Better.
We have Andrew Tate. We have Amerix. We have so many, and some of their followers who've also grown up to become the leaders in this kind of prosperity gospel for the male species. How do we decide what's truth and what's not? Because sometimes how this information is filtered to individuals, it's like, are we being told to become better people? We're being told, and then there's that nitpicking of what they said. It's like, I have this clip of him saying, work hard, wake up early in the morning, and do what not, and do this and do that. How how do I filter this information? Because maybe I do need it, and I'm in a point of weakness. I'm like, yeah, this man looks like he got his stuff together, man. He has a Lamborghini. He's prospering, man. Why would I not be with this? And it's easy for me to associate that success with what he is saying or what they're saying. And sometimes, eventually, I fall into that same train of hate. Now, naturally, aligned to philosophies that were not even my own. How do I deal with that?
Okay, I think what is very important and as a strategy to counter, hate speech is for you then as a social media to have that ability to, critically think and also be someone who is, who takes time to look at where the source of information is coming from. I think I've mentioned this earlier, that you should be able to even look at the sources of that information. We're talking about, it's a mental, health awareness month for them, for the men.
Yes.
And it's important because again, wasema kwamba wanaume kaeni ngumu, but again, as men, we really go through a lot, and from time to time, I think we need to. We've been given an opportunity for us to cry.
Finally,
yeah, which contradicts the philosophies of
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I think if you look at this content, and if you look at how these individuals are using the digital spaces to advance their philosophies, I think it comes in a way, to me, it comes in a way that is not, a considerate, because again, there are people who are experiencing, or maybe who are in the different phases, and who look in different, I know people are beautiful, but again, there's cyberbullying, saying that you need to unfat, you need to do what, I think, again, it goes back to the creator, or maybe, the source of the content. I think we need to ensure that even as a social media, the creator of this content, have that, be able to share information that is really considerate, because again, people are going through a lot.
Yes.
People have their own issues, and if you tell me today that maybe I need to man up as a man, I am going through a lot of challenges. You never know what I'm going through.
Yes.
I never understand my background. So I think it's important that even as you create content, you have to consider those who are consuming the same content.
Okay.
And then also as a social media user, as I mentioned earlier, be able to, look at this critically, filter what you think is good for you. If you feel like this is something that is not good for you and for your mental well-being, then I think you have to look for the things that really positively impact your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Donna, you're not spared on this same question. Sometimes, because I do not have the exact figures, but I will say if I was to weigh hate speech in terms of gender, I'm sure ladies receive more of it offline and online.
Yeah.
The situation that is tricky though is that you find after I have done maybe content against you, I've posted some fake news, hating on you, you come back and you do the same thing just to counter my hate speech.
I hate on you.
Yeah, you hate on me now. You're like, and then you go find my photo, you shame me and all of that, and we celebrate you now as standing for yourself, which is not something that it doesn't make the situation any better. How do we also advise people to ensure they have the right mechanisms of countering hate speech?
Okay, with hate speech, I don't think you can you can't fight fire with fire. You know what I mean? And probably a good example of this is the Kenyan catfishes thing on TikTok right now. So there's this TikTok page that keeps on resurfacing. It'll be deleted, it'll be banned from TikTok, then again it'll pop up again. So it's just this account where it posts all these famous influencers and celebrities here in Kenya, and posts their bad pictures, like the pictures that we normally see them, like they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, they look flawless, and then the next slide is a picture of them looking horrific, like this person really does will screenshot a clip of them in their videos when their mouth is open looking funny, and then that's the one that they will run with. Yeah, that's the one that they'll show. Then you'll see a bunch of people who already don't like this celebrity in the comment section saying, yeah, I always knew it. Makeup, where's beba filter kila mali. You're like, hey, surely. It's like, what did this person do to receive this much hate? You know?
Yeah.
But that's the hate culture that is building, and I don't like it. That's brewing right now on the digital space here in Kenya. And if you're not careful, you will, if you are attacked personally, you will fight fire with fire. And it's really hard. You can't blame people. Again, the lady who runs, first of all, by the way, I must mention, it's a lady that's running the account. Okay. Many people had thought at the beginning it was a man. But no, it's actually a girlie who's hating on fellow girlies. I'm just like...
Nangusha the girlies.
Come on. All the same, my thing is, if we're going to counteract this hate culture, I don't think that the best way to counteract it is by also hating on the individual. But I think the best thing that we can do is try and get those accounts of theirs taken down as quickly as possible. Report that account. And if possible, instead of fighting that fire with insulting them as well, I think you should just call out the bad behavior that you've noticed or the hate culture that they are promoting and fight against that, and not attack them as an individual. Oh, you're fat, oh, you're dark, or whatever, you know. Let's not add some more fuel to the fire.
To that fire.
Yeah.
All right. Digital literacy now. I will ask it to Timothy. Digital literacy, and you've mentioned critical thinking, I think, a lot during this conversation. Digital literacy, how does it help in combating this hate speech? Me taking information about the digital space technology to my people in the remote parts of Kenya and others who are not aware of how digital spaces operate, how will that help in combating this?
So,
and actually, how can we do that?
Yeah. Exactly. So I think the Constitution of Kenya provides the freedom to express yourself. You can speak, you can impart information, you can seek information. You have that right. You have that fundamental freedom. And digital literacy is important because, again, we're talking about digital spaces. People having that right to express themselves, to speak how they want to speak. Even in the political space, you've seen that politicians are speaking about, Mount Kenya and the Rift Valley. There's seemingly a rift between the deputy and the president. You have that right to give your opinion about, the issues that are going on. But again, when we talk about digital literacy, we are looking at how then do we, build the capacity of those using the digital spaces to be able to counter hate speech. And I think why this is really critical for us is because we want to ensure that the digital spaces are safe spaces for us, because they're important. We use them doing our businesses, and for those who are in the political space are using them for to advance their political ambitions and whatnot. It's important for us to ensure that this is a safe space for everyone, despite the gender, despite what you do. Very important. Again, we're looking at also advancing the interest of Kenyans, because again, the digital spaces are very important, but again, ensuring that the digital spaces are being used in a manner that are advancing the interests of Kenyans is very important. Because again, we're talking about the finance bill. Let me give an example of the finance bill, because I've been following that critically. Kenyans have been given the opportunity to participate, give their opinions about this bill. So again, this has been done, different opinions even in the digital spaces has had a significant impact of how this government is working.
Yes.
The other day, the president used the
private jet
that was donated by the friends, but because of the social media, Apro, the other day I think the president came with KQ, yes. Which I think again means we've seen the results of using the digital spaces. So I think it's critical for us, to ensure that there's that collective effort in terms of building the capacity of social media on how to use the digital spaces. How also do we ensure that they understand the different let's say the source of information, how they're able to spot and then how they're able to stop the spread of fake information, misinformation, and fake news.
Okay. Yeah. How to spot and how to stop.
Exactly.
Yes, I like that because it manifests in different ways. It could be a fake video on TikTok, so it's important to tell my mom how a fake video, how they could tell what a fake video is,
that is right,
and what a fake text is, what a screenshot is. These are really important, and there are tools as well in social media which help this. If it's forwarded many times, you can let them know. Ukiona imeforwardiwa mara mingi, jua tu so see kitu unaweza verify, and those tiny bits.
That is true. I think Okenye, just to mention why this is important, this digital literacy is important, is because again we're looking at despite this maybe in the rural areas, the rate of internet penetration is still low, but again with the existing spaces like the WhatsApp groups, I know that our parents back at home, I had mentioned this earlier in this platform, that our parents at home have access to maybe a social media platform like WhatsApp or Facebook. And most of this content that is fake and, has a lot of content that is, that is discriminatory or maybe hate speech, is shared on these WhatsApp platforms. I've seen a lot of this information circulating in these social media platforms. And most of the time, because they don't have that ability to, to tell whether this is the truth, most of this information, videos are edited.
Yes.
You take videos from 2017, the elections in 2017, you combine with what is in 2022,
and
that is, becomes a different story, and this is circulated on WhatsApp groups. This really has a significant impact on how the people at rural areas think, how they feel about a certain community, how they they perceive politics, and how leaders work in their spaces.
Yes.
So even the politicians, I think, have become people who propagate hate speech, because most of the time the people who sometimes the media
benefit out of it.
Exactly. I mentioned the other day that you can't say that I'm married if you don't have a wife, because again politics and propaganda, it's those kind of they have a link. So I think there's also need for us, when we talk about digital literacy, we also need to look at how politicians also contribute significantly to this, and also tell the people that please be careful, these are politicians, and there's some things that they can mention for their own
benefits.
Exactly.
All right. Are there legal and policy frameworks that you can use in trying to combat hate speech in society?
I believe that we are not short of policies, but we are short in terms of that goodwill to enforce those policies.
Okay.
Because again, as I mentioned earlier, that we have, you have that right to inform the public, you have that right to impart any kind of information, to speak what you want to say, you have that freedom of expression. But again, the constitutions has limits. If you propagating hate speech, then there's a problem. There's also, it's called the National Cohesion Act. I think if you look at that, there are provisions that in that Act of Parliament, and there's also the Data Protection Act, which again is critical in terms of protecting your data even in the digital spaces. And yes, those provisions are very critical for us. I think the issue is the enforcement of those laws.
Yes.
And also I think there's a gap in terms of even the law enforcement agencies. I wonder, because again, I believe that Kenya has a robust system in terms of collecting information or monitoring information in the digital spaces. But again, to me, I feel like these agencies are not doing it in a fair manner, because from time to time you've seen politicians, even in 2017, 2022, we had a red card campaign where we were able to flag some of this, or maybe red carded some of the politicians because of what they've been doing, looking at how they've been communicating, propagating a speech, and engaging in corruption activities. So I think also, those security agencies need to take this responsibly, because again, people are using it in a manner that significantly affects the political space and the mood in the country.
Yes.
And also one of the things that maybe we need to look at is how the tech companies are also what is their role in terms of exactly. I think we look at that critically, but again, it's their responsibility to be able to ensure that they're able to limit.
Yes.
One thing, exactly. One thing that I had mentioned before is this report, or maybe a research that was done by Mozilla Foundation, and that was really a challenge for the digital spaces, because if you look at how we engage as Kenyans, how we talk, sometimes we come from different communities. I come from the Rift Valley, where we're talking in Kalenjin language, and these digital spaces might not understand what I'm speaking in Kalenjin.
Yes.
Understand?
Yeah.
So I think also there's need for those technology companies to be able to incorporate some of those, cultures and languages into their
nuances.
India, exactly. And that is true.
So that Siri, ukimwambia Siri
inajua what is happening.
Exactly. Right. I saw a comment here that is very interesting. And I want Donna to handle it with the next question. This is Edgar Ndege tuning into the show. Anasema, absolutely enjoying this conversation. Before posting anything on the internet, ask yourself whether you'd say the same thing within punching distance. Yani kama ungekuwa kando ya mtu akirichi hivi, if you'd still say the same thing. That's Edgar Ndege letting us that on the live stream. So, how do I guard? He's been mentioning that freedom of expression. And my opinion could be hate speech.
That's true.
It could end up being hate speech, but that's just my opinion. Well, there's a bit of ignorance there, given that you should already be aware of what is hate and what isn't. But to make sure the opinions zangu haziko stifled, such that I'm not like I'm within punching distance. Sijui kama nikisema the finance bill ni mbaya, this guy might hammer me down. Or nikisema president ametulemea atasema no way. How do I guard my opinion? How do I ensure I still have an opinion?
I think it just boils down to the Constitution with the freedom of expression, right? Freedom of expression is not absolute freedom. It has its limitations, right? And those limitations are provided for in the Constitution. So you'll have, if it's anything that's going to create propaganda for war or incitement to violence, or even just hate speech itself, there's a provision for that one. So, or advocacy for hatred. So any of those things, if whatever communication that you're having falls under any of those lines, then you're not free to express that. You're not free to express hatred, or you're not free to express propaganda for war. That's not something that's supposed to be allowed. Though it might stifle that opinion of yours. If it's being stifled because it falls under one of those, there's something wrong.
There's something wrong with the opinion.
There's something wrong with your opinion. You probably need to relax. But when it comes to matters that are like trending topics, people like to have engage in political debates on Twitter, because there was actually a study that was done, like a third of the Kenyan population gets its news and political updates from Twitter. So, a lot of people like to engage in heated arguments, and that also has spilled over to other platforms like Instagram and TikTok and all that. And right now, the biggest thing is the finance bill. So people are chiming in on that. But I've seen also a lot of misinformation on that finance bill.
Yes.
People are, there's a lot of gross exaggeration of the motor vehicle tax. People think that it's going to 100,000 shillings is everybody's paying that one, regardless of your vehicle. That's not true, guys. It's dependent on the value of your vehicle, which is basically calculated using your the engine capacity, the model of the car, and the year of manufacture. So not everybody's paying 100,000, guys. It would range from 5,000 to 100,000 shillings. That's one of them. Another one that I've seen people really, really stressed out about is business owners with the minimum top-up tax. people are afraid that tax that minimum top-up tax is going to apply for everybody, but no, it's for multinational firms
and residents,
those ones who are the ones who are making an annual gross turnover of about 750 million euros. That's about 106 billion shillings. Now you're not making that, babe. You don't need to teta. Relax. Another one is the digital creators.
Yes.
They're really stressed out about the tax that, yes, they're going to be taxed, but non-residents are the ones that are receiving the 20% tax.
Yes.
The local ones, you're receiving 5%. There's a lot of uproar about that, that tax part. But the idea is to tax more, non-residents over. So though I'm not in support of the finance bill, it's good, reject it. Kwanza today. My idea is just don't spread misinformation or create propaganda for something that is not there. It creates unnecessary panic and might even cause public danger,
So I hear you that also help me save my anger, because I've been too angry for something for nothing. Well, I could save it for another day. So if I'm riled up, let me be riled up against just 5%. Usinipatie hasira ya 20%.
Unasema woi sasa hivi pesa zangu.
Nishinde kufanya kazi wiki mzima. So there, and that's how you can identify, combat. Just a few tips that we could offer to you. Ensure that you're using the resources around you. Use the constitution to weigh your opinion. In a lie wapi. Ndio ujue kama ni opinion ama ni hate speech as well. And the tools that you're offered on digital spaces to verify fake news, to reverse search images, to verify links, sources, websites. Be very careful. I saw something else recently also, which I wasn't even, I'm sure they will have caught me. Hapo wangenipata. It was google.com. But then the O's are zeros. So you would easily click on that link thinking it's, this is Google. So be very, very careful, even on the very, saizi hata singekuwa na kakitu.
I think for that, like Creco has a very, very important slogan that they're running with right now, which is to stop, reflect, and verify. So whenever you come into contact with any misinformation or disinformation, because we meet it in all sorts of forms these days. If you are an owner of a smartphone, I'm sure you've gotten some of it. So the idea is, when you first encounter any sort of information, you don't know, you're not aware of, at this point, if it's misinformation or disinformation. Stop first. Consume that content. Read it through. If it's an article, we have a problem never reading articles all the way through. We just take and then start sending it over to our families, causing panic in the church group. Relax. Before you do all of that, read all of it. Read all of it. Then once you've done that, reflect on it. Is this something that makes sense? Is it stuff that has been said in other spaces before? Is it something that has been reported formally in traditional news media outlets? Or is this just something that seems so unrealistic? A lot of the time when you're grappling with disinformation, it's something that often sounds really absurd. Some really absurd, or something that will make you really angry. So if this is something that's probably sensational, you probably need to take a minute and process that information. Once you've done that, verify it. Go to all these other sources, ask a friend, ask trusted sources, go to BBC Reality check that through, and just be in general a digital media literate person. It would save you a lot of heartache. It will save you a lot of scamming.
All right. Let's wise up. That's actually the message in this Vijana Tuchanuke campaign of 2024. To wise up kabisa, that you need to stop, reflect, and then verify before uanze to spread that kind of information. Maybe just to let them know of more that Creco does in this regard as we wrap up the conversation. And Inform Action, that is. Yes.
Great. So let me speak for Inform Action.
Yes.
So I think what she's trying to say, what Donna is trying to say is, I think we need to don't take things on face value. Where you get content on social media and you say that is the truth of the matter. You see, so it's important for you to stop, look at that document, look at that article, check whether that video has been edited, because again there's what is called the deep fake, with your few images, you can find yourself in a very weird video.
I know.
And we've seen this even with the president and the deputy president dancing. I've never seen a deputy president dancing like that, but that is it. That is the point. So I think as Information, we are working closely with the communities, and we're trying to shift the power to the people. Shifting the power to the people in the sense that we are asking them that you have the right to, all that sovereign power belongs to you. Even when we talk about the finance bill, I think the reason why people are meeting, it's because all the sovereign power belongs to those people. At 2 p.m. the meeting today, I'll be there at 2 p.m.
Nice.
So they have that freedom now to protest. So as Information, we're trying to help the communities understand that you have that right to take action. And take action in different ways, either by presenting petitions to authorities. You have that right to protest as provided for in the Constitution of Kenya. That is the kind of engagement that we're having with the communities. And we are also trying to help them in terms of understanding some of the important articles that help them to access information, like the Access to Information Act, that we have been trying to simplify it and using the same digital spaces to ensure that they understand how, what the act itself means for them, and where they can access any kind of information that they're looking for, and how the information is handled even in those entities. So we are trying to jointly work with different stakeholders at the county level. We're also working with grassroots groups to ensure that we're also able to amplify what the communities are doing. If they're taking action about a certain issue, like a road construction that has stalled for quite some time, let's say a health center that has stalled from 2016, money was allocated, but again, nothing has been done so far. So I think that is the kind of capacity building that we're doing.
Nice, thank you very much. Don, as we finish, do I have a responsibility to stop people from using hate speech in real life? If I was walking down these corridors of KUTV and I had someone make a statement that I know is false and is discriminatory, do I have that responsibility? Should I take that responsibility and tell them, hey man, to Lisa, or is that too much activism, Mama?
No, I think people like to avoid difficult conversations or conversations that will put them in precarious positions. But as an individual, if we're trying to counter something, a big monster like hate speech, it has to start in small, what you might think is a meaningless interaction. But informing people that that's not the right way to speak to people. A lot of the time I have to, because I told you that I have a lot of Muslim friends, so when people are giving very racist or something rhetoric, I just don't do that. Not here.
Yeah, we don't do that here.
We don't do that here. Again, it's the same conversation that people had on the internet about dark-skinned girls and how they are considered lesser than light-skinned baddies or whatever. I mean, that's a conversation that people consistently are always having, talking down on dark-skinned girls. And I love that people have started to come up and say that they're not lesser humans, they're not less beautiful, they're just equally as beautiful. So that hate that's being directed towards them, in Mchongo, I know back in class 3 we used to say, "Wali black kama charcoal."
They laugh the whole day.
Then they laugh the whole day, and that's something small, right? But then it continues to build up, and then it's just like, now no, these people are ugly, they shouldn't be here, that sort of thing. So those stopping it or nipping it in the bud the minute that you catch it, it's going to do a lot more than you'll actually think it does. That's the only way that they were able to stop racial slurs or reduce that, because it was insane back in the 50s and even later on. But right now, again, it's not something that is socially acceptable. People are frowned upon when you use the word. There's a lot of hate that is directed towards people who do insult people from a certain race. So I think I like that direction that we're heading. But we shouldn't tear each other down in the process.
In the process of doing that. We should inform each other instead.
And the only way I think you can do that, being, trying to counter hate speech and like misinformation, disinformation, is Greco. So Greco right now is having the Vijana Tuchanuke campaign, where we are educating students across Kenya and even just at large on misinformation and disinformation and how to combat those two information disorders. Right now, there's a campaign that they're running called the Digital Democracy Fellowship. So it's supposed to gather 50 students from across the different universities here in Kenya and bring them together and basically teach them how to be digital media literate. Right. And it'll equip them with all the skills that they need. And at the end of it, they're supposed to run a project, that is on those same matters. And I think that's a very powerful way of countering misinformation, which often leads to like hate speech and all of that stuff, by teaching the youth, who are the biggest active and most active users of social media, how to recognize and even not to engage in the very misinformation and disinformation that we're talking about. That way we can deal with the problem from its root instead of dealing it with from the top. You start from the bottom and then you go up.
Bottom up approach.
Bottom up.
Okay, nice. I like it. And that program has already started?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's already underway?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
next, what when you
next year. But still, you can follow Kreko Kenya on all social media sites. They have really good information there. We are going through to different universities all over, having talks with them. These mentorship talks are very, very powerful. We get to engage with the youth themselves and just, understand what their ideas of misinformation and disinformation are and just basically sensitize them on the issue. And it really helps because like sometimes you realize they don't think that it's so much of an issue until you sit down and reflect and you're like, hey,
this is serious.
This is actually really serious.
This is very serious.
Yeah. So if we want them to engage in elections, even in 2027, you need to enhance that civic participation by stopping all this misinformation and disinformation on the internet. Let them get the information that is real and that is true.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. And on that note, I'd like to just read a few of the comments we've received so far and then give you guys a chance to do your last remarks.
Yeah.
I'll start with Timothy Hivo and then we'll finish with you. Just a last remark on hate speech and information disorders, because I think we've had, now this is the third conversation with you on information disorder, and I like how far we've come. Just maybe get those comments out the way. Ezi Ganzel. Apologies if I mispronounce your name. I'm from the deepest parts of this republic. Ask me how I start off my Tuesday. I have the answers, because why not? Who would want to miss such a show? Join us for the daily conversation, and I promise you a mesmerizing day. Thank you very much, Ganzo, for that supportive message to Biashara Tuesday. I already said about the punching distance. Just a reminder, if you're saying something on the internet, jiulize huyo mtu unaambia if you're within punching distance. Will you say the same thing? People have pulled up on people. They call it pulling up.
Pulling up.
Yeah, I pull
Guns
up
blazing.
on your block. All right. The Plight KE, the power team, Rich team and Donna is big and better. Great conversation. Duncan Maigwa tuned in. Oh, that's Duncan.
Hi, Duncan.
Hi, Duncan. Yes, to me, the Plight KE. I hope the Plight is going to reject the finance bill today, later.
Sindio.
Yeah. Rose Murara.
Oh, Mama.
That's your mom.
Mama.
Mama, we made it. You're on TV. Let's shout our loudest against hate speech. It's keeping us from benefiting from our diversity. We can't and should not all be or think the same. We can't and we should not be or think the same. All right. Thank you very much, Miss Rose.
Thank you, Mama.
Mama to the journalist of the year who is with us here on the show. Asante sana for that feedback. I'll read more if you keep sending it on the live stream KUTV Kenya and on social platforms KUTV_Kenya. Last remark from my panelists here. I'll start with Timothy on hate speech generally and maybe anything else that you might have left.
Okay.
Yes.
So I had started mentioned earlier. I think hate speech is truly poison to the mind. It's a problem. It's a challenge for us as a country. And this is my parting shot, that we need to come collectively in terms of countering hate speech. It's not a one man show. It also requires the media, who are also, I know that your primary role is also educating the public, and you have quite a number of people following you. We also have, technology companies who have a responsibility to ensure that they limit, how speech is, how it circulates. We've talked about the algorithms. I think there's need for the tech companies to also relook at those strategies and how to able to manage. And then also, I think social media users have a responsibility as well to ensure that they use the digital spaces responsibly. When we talk about social media users, we're also talking about the politicians. I know that we have seen even politicians in the political space. We've seen, utterances from politicians who we truly respect. And if you listen to what they're talking about, the things they're mentioning, it really has a significant impact on, the unity of this country. So it's a collective responsibility. We have a lot of issues, challenges that we are dealing with. So we don't have to put, our peace and our harmony at stake. We have to ensure that we're using these digital spaces to advance the interests of Kenyans. We can use it for the good, right?
Yes.
So I think, therefore, this is my final call to action, that I think we need to also have an understanding of, the laws that are in place. I think there's need for us to continuously to ensure that there's a sustained campaign on how we build the capacity of social media users. I think this project that is being implemented by CRECO is keen on targeting the young people. So I think there should be that continuous capacity building of the social media users, and majority of them being the young people.
Yes.
We have to ensure that we're using the digital spaces responsibly.
Okay. Yeah. Asante sana for creating time for us. That's Timothy from Inform Action, and also
it's
ensuring that we are getting yes. Donna.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
I think my parting shot perhaps is today. Today is the International Day for Countering Hate Speech. So I think it's important that we understand even why we're having this day to begin with. First, this is a day where we're supposed to promote interreligious and intercultural dialogue and tolerance, right? So that we can counter hate speech. So I think it's important that people understand that they need to embrace the diversity in their communities, in their cultures, wherever it is that they come from. And instead of hating that which you're not familiar with, you should probably acquaint yourself with it, It'll help in spreading less hate, and now we spread positivity and good vibes. On that same note, I do believe that we need to do better in terms of the legal frameworks that we have in place already. I believe that we have the Election Offences Act that has something on false information. Then we also have this Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act of 2018. And that one, again, is speaking on false publications and how, if you publish any false information, there are legal repercussions for that, right? But again, the issue with those laws is that there's not very selective enforcement of them. I think, again, some of them are just very insufficient deterrents. Someone doesn't feel scared enough. That's not scary. Let me just post this. That's not so bad. Pesa kidogo hivyo surely. Yeah. So, and then there's, I think, again, a lot of the laws are very ambiguous, there's not enough detail so there's so many loopholes with that. So I think we should probably revise a lot of these acts or legal policies that we have in place, and probably, we can form something that's more, something with teeth. Yeah. Instead of just complaining all the laws are not working, we can sit down and actually come up with something that does work and that we can actually enforce. So yeah, happy International Day for Encountering Hate Speech, and I hope today you don't go home being a hater.
Yeah. We are, I hope you didn't wake up early to be a hater. Hopefully this has been informative to you on how to counter hate speech and recognizing it and countering it. Very important. I like that you stop and spot. Stop, spot before you go on with whatever you want to do with that information you're interacting with. Thank you very much, guys, for having us this conversation. That was the Constitution and Reform Education Consortium, CRECO, through Donna, giving us, of course, that conversation, and then Timothy from Inform Action as well, letting us know of what they're doing, letting you in on the information you need to know in terms of what it is, misinformation, disinformation, and how that ties in with hate speech. So I'm hoping you learned something, and you're now, a justice defender of, people against hate speech. There's a comment here I wouldn't want to leave out from Prof himself. Household wamesimama waone kama pia umeleta hate speech ama sawa. But I think you've done well, because he says a great discussion, guys. Our young people need this kind of engagement in today's fractured society. We need the right and correct information in making informative decisions. Can't be informative decision if you don't have information. You need to have the correct information to do that. Right, asante sana. Wow, that was very intense. We are fighting hate speech like we are superheroes with keyboards of justice. So go out there. Remember, next time someone spews hate on you online, probably the best response is a cut video. Logic is overrated anyway at that point. Go out there, spread kindness like butter on toast. Biashara Tuesday will be right back.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
First time?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared, but I can do this. Mess with me. Yeah, let's do this, man.
this and that, you study. If you're not in class, you're in the field.
Najua students mnapenda kulala. What I do when I get broke.
If the money is not enough, we find some of us when tunaingia in betting.
Kuna challenges mingi.
Now we're here 4 years later about to graduate. What do I say?
You need to look for high quality friends.
I'm from Kingston, Jamaica, you know Portmore. That's my village.
Kanga tutini hapo kinyedia ukikatia mademo akipita.
Sinaweza saa hii nimekuja kukopesa choo.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu, jibarikiwe na Mungu, iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta.
Yanayokukumba tuna maizi, tunakutetea sisiri. Ukweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline.
Are you healthy, or rather, do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? According to WHO, health is regarded as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Welcome to Focus on Health, a show on all matters health, wellness, and lifestyle. On this show, we cover a wide variety of topics inclusive of, but not limited to, dental, optical, mental, reproductive health, and so much more. Join me, Joy Bofenda, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on KUTV for compelling insights and discussions on all matters health. See you then.
Focus on Health, your weekly dose of health and wealth information on KUTV.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday. We ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
What a conversation we just had there about hate speech. The Constitution and Reform Education Consortium, CRECO, is underway with a campaign known as Vijana Tuchanuke, Let's Wise Up in English. So trying to help everyone understand the various forms of information disorder. There's disinformation, there's misinformation, and there's fake news. all of this which are tying down to hate speech. How do you identify what hate speech is online, especially now that digital media spaces are taking over and getting all the way to the remote parts of this world? How do we ensure everyone is sensitized against participating and propagating hate speech in these spaces? The youth are playing a very key role, given that the majority of the people who are spearheading conversations in these digital media spaces. And now that we are in a very heated political environment globally, whether it's elections in the US or in other parts of Africa, or the conversations that are happening in Kenya currently with the finance bill, which I see here in the newspapers, and much more of the information you're receiving in the public sphere. It's important that you interrogate, you pause, you check on it, you verify the source before you spread it. If it's discriminatory against a certain sect of people or a particular group, community in society, ensure that is not something that you are a part of sharing, because it's reinforcing stereotypes and biases, which eventually the results are real life. Speak of xenophobia, speak of racism and other hate crimes which we have witnessed in society before. These are real effects of hate speech, and today is that International Day of countering hate speech. You have a responsibility to be kind and to ensure that you are addressing any sources of fake news that lead to hate speech. That's your responsibility, that your opinion is not infringing on other people's rights. Your right of expression does not mean you express any opinions or beliefs that might lead to hurting other people in society. So that conversation we just had, and will be later on available on YouTube, KUTV Kenya. It was a conversation with Donna Morara, who is a digital democracy champion from KRECO Kenya, and Timothy Kimayo, who is a communication specialist from Inform Action. It's a series of conversations we've had in this same campaign, Vijana Tuchanuke. Young people or the youth, let's wise up. And in that spirit of wising up, I'll be here to let you know of what the headlines are looking like, the most important stories of the day, and what you can think about as we prepare for a midday show in front of Parliament in the name of Occupy Parliament protests against the finance bill of 2024 as it goes into the last hearing and the voting stage today. What will be the results and what is the outcome? How does it look like politically? The temperatures as painted here on the headlines. Let me take a breather and I'll be back with them. So today is the voting day for the Finance Bill 2024 at the National Assembly. This is the D-Day, as it's painted here on the Daily Nation, when the National Assembly's Finance and National Planning Committee will be giving out that last draft of the Finance Bill of 2024. Public participation is a constitutional affair necessary in budgeting and revenue collection issues. Although the government has been engaging in these forums since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, there is growing public concern about the effectiveness of these forums, as many feel that the public views are not considered. Eliud Mutwiri explores the not-so-public participation hours before the National Assembly Finance and Planning Committee tables its report on the Finance Bill 2024 in the House. Let's have a look.
Participation is a crucial component of policy making in Kenya, and it is also critical in budgeting and revenue collection issues. Simply put, public participation is the involvement of citizens in public decision making. In this report, we highlight public participation in the Finance Bill, which outlines revenue-raising measures for a particular financial year and the perception of the citizenry on the process. The National Assembly Finance and National Planning Committee, led by Molo Member of Parliament Kuria Kimani, invited the public and stakeholders to send written submissions regarding this year's finance bill between 16th May to May 28th, 2024. Later, the committee engaged various stakeholders to submit their oral presentations before the committee starting May 28th. The 2-week-long exercise ended at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, KICC, in Nairobi, where members of the general public were invited to submit their opinions in a public forum. Although the Finance Bill 2024 has raised public outcry even online, not so many people turned up at the Monday 10th June public hearings. Nevertheless, those who attended were accorded an opportunity to air their opinions. Here, the introduction of a 16% value-added tax on bread, excise duty on cooking oil, increasing duties on internet and mobile money transfer services, and the introduction of a motor vehicle tax of 2.5% were among the contentious issues that were strongly opposed.
This tax will make the cost of transport very expensive.
The amendment does not stipulate how the valuation of the vehicles shall be done.
Tafadhali usihakikishe ya kwamba iko tax free.
Eco levy tax, the one that will be levied on diapers, on sanitary towels, and on packaging materials as well. I think this is punitive.
The current bill as it is of rather great concern for the whole manufacturing sector.
Some of those who attended believe the exercise is not in vain, whereas others have no faith that their input will be considered.
I have confidence that our views will not go to waste. This was not a waste of time.
Hatuna imani wale watu ambao wanatufinya ndio wako kwa bunge.
We also sought the opinion of those who did not attend.
Serikali inatusikiza ama haitusikizi. So painful. It's too much. Serikali inasema kwamba inaangalia mwananchi wa kawaida, mwananchi wa chini. Watu wale ambao wanafanya kazi wakati watawaangalia. Sasa ilikuwa ni kikeuke. We don't have faith. In as much as our motion has done, we don't know what may happen in the parliament.
2 days after the public hearings at KICC, I attended a session of Bunge la Wananchi, a social justice movement at Jivanjee Gardens in Nairobi, where the trust deficit in public participation and parliament was echoed.
Ile kitu inafanywa hapo, ati watu wapeleke memorandum, watu wapeleke maoni, is only a formality to comply with the constitutional provision.
Serikali inafaa kubadilisha mtindo wa kuchukua maoni ya wananchi. In a way that haya maoni ya wananchi yawe yanapelekwa katika maeneo bunge na wananchi wanaruhusiwa kusomewa na kuyaelewa, alafu wanayapigia kura ya siri.
Out of 6 members that addressed the topic, only Joseph Ndolo, who had on Monday 10th attended the public hearings and aired his opinion, expressed confidence in the process.
We assume your involvement in the public participation.
Molo MP Kimani Kuria, who chairs the committee that conducted the public hearings on the finance bill, has often reiterated the committee's commitment to consider all the proposals they receive.
Take the finance bill of 2023 compared to the Finance Act of 2023. They're not the same document. And the difference between the bill and the act were views that came from public participation. As we retreat, we wanted to assure Kenyans that this was not an exercise in futility. We want you to hold us to account.
The committee's report on public participation in Finance Bill 2023 pointed out that more Kenyans were taking part in the process as they received 1,080 memoranda. However, most of the opinions opposing the bill were not considered in the final draft of the Finance Act 2023. We meet Eve Mathai, a budget facilitator in Nairobi. She tells us that although Kenyans seem to be more engaged in public participation in budgetary affairs, there is a need for public views to be reflected in the final drafts that are passed into law.
I work with a lot of budget champions and facilitators, and once you discover that your input is not being taken seriously, you will not avail yourself for the next public participation forum.
The language of lawmaking and even the way law is passed is written.
Madai advocates for inclusivity in public participation and collaboration between government and non-state actors to help break down the complex budget issues for the common mwananchi.
We should fast track the enactment of the National Public Participation Bill. Secondly, counties should be encouraged to enact their public participation bill. Thirdly, I think we should support time that we embrace technology. It would be very accommodative if people could contribute their input from anywhere in the world.
Kennedy Omukunda, a governance and development expert, also reiterates the need for laws to govern the conduct of public participation.
The issue is we must be able to pass the law on public participation so that it operationalizes the whole process.
There is a public participation bill yet to be passed by Parliament to regulate public participation in Kenya.
There's darkness ahead and more darkness.
The concerns of citizens, particularly distrust in public participation in budgetary affairs, echo the need for public participation forums to reflect the wishes of the public instead of being a formality in adherence to the Constitution and Kenyan laws. The fate of the Finance Bill of 2024 now lies in Parliament, with legislators having the final say, which could either improve or dampen the public trust in public participation, an exercise through which Kenyans exercise their sovereign power. Eliud Mutweri for KUTV.
Right, as you can clearly tell there from the few statements from Kenyans, the pain of ruinous policies that are seeking to tax everyone out of existence is being felt across the fault lines of whether political or class or ethnic groupings or any other persuasions which have divided us before. This movement is actually gaining ground as Kenyans are trying to resist the imposition of these new taxes, and it's happening without any central organizations or command structure. It's very organic, as you can see from the comments on the social media platforms, from videos that you can interact with on X, TikTok, and any other places where Kenyans are expressing anger against the provisions which are there in the Finance Bill of 2024. Our role here on Biashara Tuesday has been to ensure you're getting the correct information so that you are riled up against the correct things. Your anger is directed and channeled towards the correct provisions which are there in that finance bill. So we have had discussions before on the show. You could rewind back and see. The other thing that you can do is get yourself that copy of the finance bill. It's available online through media publications. If you can Google it, you'll find it where it's gazetted before it's tabled in Parliament. That second reading happening later today. But public participation, that was the story. And Parliament will be looking to introduce a new bill that regulates public participation. Whether that is for the good or not is yet to be seen, given that so far it has yielded less fruits if the Finance Bill of 2023 is something to go by, and if the Occupy Parliament campaign also turns out stillborn, it means there's more conversations which need to happen on how we can enhance public participation. I'm going to read a few hot takes on Twitter so far before we proceed with the rest of the information on what is happening today. Reject Finance Bill 2024. Miguna says, Kenyans, reject Finance Bill 2024. It's nonsensical, excessive, oppressive, and anti-people. Taxing the sick, unemployed, peasants, homeless, and struggling Kenyans to death is criminal. Down with the IMF and World Bank anti-African experiments. That's Miguna. Ali Bill 4, that's a Kenyan saying, the bill's critics view it as oppressive and not in the best interest of the Kenyan people. They also criticize what they perceive as undue influence from international financial institutions like the IMF and the World Bank. President William Ruto jetted back to the country, and the first thing that he did was convene a Kenya Kwanza parliamentary group meeting to implore them to ensure that they're voting yes today when the bill hits the halls of parliament. So this informs the sentiments from Kenyans that we are likely an IMF and World Bank experiment, given the president has been shaking hands with the leaderships of these institutions and with the leaderships of the G7 countries. DK Napier follows up and says, we are occupying Parliament on Tuesday to do the needful and to show up. And here we have Gahamanyi as well. If the president doesn't know how to expand taxes through job creation, new industries, he should resign and stop wasting people's time on useless policies. And finally, Bungo Maduke anasema the bill will easily sail through. Those elected to act as opposition join hands with the government. A people's revolt is in the offing. There are two sides to it. There are those who are saying reject the finance bill because the provisions are too punitive. And there are those who are saying pitisha bill kwa sababu hakuna vitu mingi sana mbaya, and this is going to help us raise the amount of money that KRA needs to do to turn around the situation. The amount that KRA needs to raise just this month is published somewhere here in the dailies. I'll giving you that information. It's around 500 billion in just this short period, and they're falling short. Pressure mounting from the ministry, pressure mounting from the Kenya Kwanza government. What is likely to be the outcome of today's continued or today's showcase of what public participation looks like at the halls of Parliament? Occupy Parliament will be happening from 12, and I'll be letting you in on that information, more of what is painted here in the dailies. But in the meantime, this is more information that you should be aware of as we head out to that participation or that voting session in Parliament later on as regards with the finance bill of 2024. Why are Kenyans so worked up is a big question, and what will be the outcome later when, of course, that voting process happens in Parliament. Already, the other faction or the opposition, which is comprising of Jubilee, ODM, Wiper Party, and other smaller parties within that coalition, are saying they will vote no. ODM has sent out 86, a total number of letters to all their members of Parliament to tell them to vote no. Is your member of Parliament voting no or yes? That's also something that you can let me in on in the comment section. But as I said, members of Parliament across the country have continuously threatened of their determination to see the controversial Finance Bill 2024 dead on arrival. Led by Baringo Member of Parliament Joshua Kandie, MPs have termed some clauses in this bill as punitive and oppressive ahead of tabling on Parliament slated later today.
In a move to raise revenue to fund the government's 2024-2025 budget estimates of 3.9 trillion Kenya shillings unveiled last week, the National Assembly's Finance Committee is expected to table the contentious Finance Bill 2024 in Parliament tomorrow, following the conclusion of public hearings on the proposed taxes on Tuesday last week. This comes as members of Parliament opposed to the bill warns of shooting down the bill if it does not favor the ordinary Kenyan, with some terming the bill punitive and oppressive.
We are going to take charge as members of Parliament, and I think from my reading of the mood of the population of Kenya, I think there are some sections which we will make sure that it does not affect our population badly.
Mimi nimefanya public participation kwa constituency yangu, na watu wote wameniambia hii bill ni mbaya. Kwa hivyo mimi ikifika 2024, ikifika finance bill ya 2024, Your Excellency, mimi nataka kukuambia nikipiga no, ujue ni kwa sababu watu wamekataa, si mimi.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, watch my space. I am going to vote no on the basis of the suffering of Kenyans.
While urging citizens to keep calm ahead of the finance bill tabling tomorrow, Baringo Member of Parliament Joshua Kandie said that they will not allow punitive bills to be passed and that they are determined to push for the removal of clauses which have caused uproar among citizens.
Wananchi watulie, wasikuwe na wasiwasi ya kwamba hiyo taxes sile zinakuja sitawaumiza, kwa sababu tutahakikisha ya kwamba ile tax inaumiza mwananchi tunatoa kama wajumbe katika Jamhuri ya Kenya.
This year's finance bill proposes the introduction of a contentious motor vehicle tax set at a rate of 2.5% of the value of the vehicle, with a floor of 5,000 Kenya shillings and ceiling of Kenya shillings 100,000, eco levy and tax measures that will increase the cost of bread, among other proposals. James Baraka, KUTV Primetime News.
All right, so what must the state do now? This conversation of the finance bill is coming to a final halt by the end of this month, before President William Ruto puts a signature on it by 1st of July 2024. I have here some information on what is happening with that Finance and Planning Committee, the Finance and National Planning Committee, which is handling the Finance Bill of 2024. All eyes on MPs over new taxes. That's what the Daily Nation has here. Kenya Kwanza and Azimio have called all their parliamentary group meetings today to rally their troops ahead of that voting process. MPs will still have to vote for the changes to take effect, but will they listen to the people? That's the question. The recommendations which are in there, from the bread to VAT on financial transactions, have been discussed in the past few weeks after public participation. And I'm going to take this chance to let you in on which are the provisions, according to the standard here, that have been struck or have been amended ahead of more that you can hear later today. MPs want tax to change in this way, or taxation is going to change in this way. According to page 4 here of the Daily Nation, the headline reads, House team succumbs to public pressure, drops punitive taxes. So let's see if public participation has worked. In removing bread from list of zero-rated commodities, the committee maintained bread in the list of zero-rated commodities. So we are likely to get that taxation still in effect. Motor vehicle tax at 2.5% on the value of vehicle. House team has recommended that that proposal is deleted. The motor vehicle tax at 2.5% is likely to be deleted. Import declaration fee, IDF, which was set at 3%, was going to affect importers of goods, and the committee now wants the rate maintained at the current rate of 2.5%. It was supposed to be going back, or to be going up to 3% import declaration fee. They're hoping it remains at 2.5%. Proposal to remove vegetable oils from the VAT list. Currently, edible oil is among VAT commodities, vatable commodities, or those commodities which are under VAT. They're called vatable commodities. So currently, edible oils are going to be maintaining within VAT commodities. Imposition of 25% excise duty on crude edible and refined oils. MPs want the duty reduced to 5%. Imposition of VAT on financial transactions, which were likely to see bank to M-Pesa and M-Pesa payments to increase in transaction fees. The team struck out the proposal in their report. On eco-levy, among those which are controversial for us, given that you're trying to mitigate effects of climate change and encourage participation in green innovation, the bill is proposing an eco-levy at the rate of 150 per kilogram. The committee wants the tax dropped on grounds that it will increase the cost of production or products that are packaged in plastic materials. This include bread, milk, sanitary pads, and others, which are likely to increase. And MPs want this tax dropped, which was supposed to be put at 150 per kilogram of whatever product that is, which is using eco material. The MPs in the Finance Committee have this to say, that they have sorted out the Kenyans. They've listened to the Kenyans one by one when they presented their views and did as they recommended to this committee. That's page 4 of the Finance Bill 2024. Kenyans can't breathe. Nyeri Catholic Archbishop is painted here on page 5 of the Daily Nation, saying Kenyans cannot breathe, and hoping that the government does not ignore the voices of the Kenyans. I have an image of the editorial from the Daily Nation. I don't know if we can have that up to show here President William Ruto, a caricature of him fuming while holding the finance bill and asking the parliamentarians to pass it all the same. This is coming at a time when the ruling Kenya Kwanza is in a bit of throes with the self-implosion by the name of the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, who's copying Ruto's playbook from back when he was revolting against President Uhuru Kenyatta. And you can see him with his ears on the ground. Anasikiza ground, inasemaje, pale kwa mlima. But he's not saying anything on the finance bill. Raila Odinga can be pictured on the far end. His main concern is the chairmanship of the African Union Commission. So apart from AUC, mambo yake ya finance bill this time, the revolt or the revolution is being led by Kenyans and not Raila Odinga. So what will be happening today later is also something that is mentioned here that I saw in the Standard, which shows about Occupy Parliament. That protest, Occupy Parliament protest, is on as the country rejects the 2024 finance bill. Here, human rights activists have called on Kenyans to come outside Parliament to push for the amendment of the bill. Many say the finance bill 2024 is oppressive. Something else, as I wrap up, that you can read for yourself on the Standard, there on the front page, the conversation of gun and gun control has finally arrived on our doorsteps here in Kenya. Just like the young democracy we are, the conversations on LGBTQ, conversations on legalization of marijuana, hizo zishafika katikati. Now we are beginning on gun and gun laws. Widows' cries, too many guns are in the wrong hands. A widow here is suing the state for failing to regulate guns, claiming her husband, a nurse, will still be alive if the government tightened gun control rules in the country. This is also coming at a time where the latest victim of this is Monica Kivuti, a magistrate at Makadara Law Courts who was killed by an angry husband of Arimandi. Judiciary service workers are staging a protest on Thursday as well, and today they're on a go-slow as they mourn this day. They're calling it the day of mourning for the judiciary after the killing of Monica Kivuti. Read for yourself. There are so many stories here that I could have, of course, gone through. Others in the areas of education, JSS teachers who are yet to be hired, and also that political rift between President William Ruto and DP Gachagua. Why Gachagua is a man on a warpath. But the main conversation of the day, the finance bill of 2024. We'll be keenly following up on that and bringing you those updates next week on Tuesday to see what has happened, what has transpired in Parliament, and what came out of our public participation. Thank you very much for tuning in to Biashara Tuesday this morning. This is as much as we could do with the time that we have been offered, and we are grateful that you could create time for us here on Rise Today. Continue wishing quick recovery to my colleague Ojong Mariam, and hopefully we can be able to see him here next week on Monday at Art and Culture before I come back with business on Biashara Tuesday. From my producer and director Ryan Ngure and the whole team here on KUTV Rise Today, we are glad that you're able to tune in and continue following the rest of KUTV's broadcasting on social media. We are at KUTV Kenya, and mine personal handle at Richard_OKENYE. Because the finance bill is tough on us, if you want to have breakfast in bed, sleep in the kitchen. I'll see you around.
Biashara boss, okay. Mina Biashara, flow same time, flow so tight as Chris Contai.